To this introductory walkthrough of the WMDA Search and Match service, a powerful web application designed to help transplant centers and donor registries find matching stem cell donors and cord blood units for patients around the world. In this video, we'll walk you through the basics of how to use the platform, covering how to search for donors, filter results, and customize your experience. On the screen here, you will notice that we've already been logged in. This is your dashboard, which serves as the central hub for all of your donor search activities. On the top right, you will find links taking you directly to your patient list or simply to add a patient. You will also find a space where you can apply your own preferences, manage your MFA, or log out. Over here in the middle section, you can find current engine load, engine referring to the matching algorithms HAP-E and Atlas. This is the load at the current timestamp. However, you can also review historical load in the screen beside it. Of course, no dashboard would be complete without general information. We use the space here on the right to provide you with informative links such as a direct link to the user guide, as well as previous webinars about Atlas and HAP-E matching algorithms. You can also find a link taking you directly to our support mailbox here at the bottom. We also provide you with current information about other stem cell registries, cord blood banks, or even upcoming events with registration links. Let's jump straight into adding a patient. Whenever you add a patient into the Search and Match service, you need to be able to provide information about patient consent. Consent from the patient that you are allowed to enter their medical information into this web application. Even if you do not have the patient's consent, you will still be able to initiate a search, but you will not be able to assign a patient ID. Whenever adding a new patient, most important would be the HLA details. The only required fields are HLA-A, HLA-B, and HLA-DRB1. But it is important to add as much HLA information about the patient as you possibly can, because that will definitely narrow down your search considerably. Of course, you can also add extra class 2 loci, but these are not considered for matching. Also, if you do not know how to convert a MAC code or a multiple allele code back to the allele or vice versa, you can use the link here to the HLA typing lookup tool. Other information that could be important for you to know from your registry or transplant center side is all of the fields listed here, like CMV, ethnicity, birth date, diagnosis, blood group, weight, sex, etc. The only field that's really important to list here would be ethnicity, because this helps the matching algorithms calculate the match probability with higher accuracy. Of course, weight is also important when doing a cord blood unit search. Once you have completed these fields, you will be asked to complete or tick off whether you would like to perform a donor search or a cord search using either the HAP-E algorithm or the Atlas algorithm. Of course, you could also tick all of the boxes and you will get 4 individual searches based on these preferences. Once you have all of this information put in, you can simply say search and the search will be initiated. Let's have a look at a patient that I've loaded previously. You can find all your previous and current patient information and search results in patient list. In your patient list, you will be able to toggle between my patients or my organization's patients. My patients are all the patients that you have loaded yourself. My organization's patients are all the patients loaded not just by you, but all of your colleagues within your same organization. This is helpful when a colleague goes on holiday and needs to hand over a patient case to another colleague. Of course, there are filters here to help you see only the available patient, static patients, inactive patients, etc. So if you have a very long list of patients to search through, you can also use the patient search by ID here in the top right hand corner. So like I said, let's have a look at search results. This patient has, this is a donor search for just a patient that I named Demo 1. It was performed using the Atlas matching algorithm. It's a 10 out of 10 search, and 72,710 potential donors were identified for this patient. As you see, it takes a little while to load the screen because of all the many donors that were identified. But once we have this information, you can have a scroll through and see all of the potential matches. Let's have a look at the match probabilities. On the far left, you will find the overall match probabilities for these donors. The likelihood of there being 0 mismatches, for this donor, it is 100%. Therefore, this donor is confirmed to be a 100% match for this patient. The likelihood of a single mismatch is 0, and the likelihood of 2 mismatches is also 0. Not only do we have overall match probability, we also show you locus-specific match probability for A, B, DRB1, C, DRB1, and DQB1. Donors are ranked first by HLA match and second by age. So you will always find the youngest donors at the top if you are currently looking at the standard sorting. We will get into different sorting types when we review mismatch patient donors. Other features to take note of is that the donor grid number appears for every record, also their status, their CMV, if this is known and provided to the WMDA, their ethnicity, again, if this is known and provided to the WMDA, number of donations, the listing organization, their ION, the donor's gender, age, and blood group. Blood group is not a mandatory field, and this information will only be provided to the WMDA if the donor registry knows it themselves. Of course, we also provide you information about the listing organization's WMDA accreditation status. Let's look at another patient search that I also performed recently. In this case, we will be looking at a mismatch search. While the patient did have 558 potential donors, none of those donors seemed to be suitable, and so a single mismatch search was also initiated. In this case, again, this was a donor search performed using the Atlas matching algorithm for 9 or more out of 10 matched donors, and close to 20,000 potential donors were identified. Here you can see that at the top we will rank the donors by match probability first. So the 10 out of 10 donors will still be at the top, and you need to scroll through them to get to the 9 out of 10 donors. Unfortunately, that is quite a long way to scroll. So to get this information a little bit quicker, you can go to the filter. And instead of standard sorting, you can ask for sort by the sum of probabilities. When doing this, you will find that the donors that now filter to the top have the highest sum of match probability. So if you add up 0, 1, and 2, you will get to 100, and therefore this donor has the highest sum of probability to match. Of course, you can see that this is a single mismatch donor with a known mismatch at the B locus. Other interesting information that we provide is, while DBB1 is not a required field for matching and donor selection, we do provide you with permissive and non-permissive information. In this case, this donor is considered non-permissive in the host versus graft direction. If you scroll down a little bit, you can also find a donor that is permissive. So it's a permissive mismatch, although there is a mismatch at the DBB1. If we now look a little bit closer at match probabilities, I suggest we go back to standard sorting, and there it is a little bit easier to explain. So in standard sorting, the match probabilities calculated by the matching algorithm indicate for these potential 10 of 10 donors that there is a 0% chance of 0 mismatches, a 5% chance of a single mismatch, and a 12% chance of 2 mismatches. Of course, 5 and 12 together is only 19%, so there's almost an 80% chance that this donor will have 3 or more mismatches once fully typed. This is not ideal, depending on where you are in the world and what your match requirements are, but I don't think that there's a lot of places that would accept unrelated donors with 3 or more mismatches. Let's have a closer look at all the filters that are currently available. Once you click on filter, you can see that you can indicate where you would allow mismatches in terms of the loci. Also, the DBB1 match grade that you would prefer. The number of mismatches allowed. Here you can see that 0 and 1 is allowed. Currently 2, 3 and 4 is grayed out because this is a one mismatch search, so it will not be able to show you 2 mismatches. The sorting, which we've already covered, standard or sum of probabilities, and many more. Let's have a quick look at a cord blood search. This is a cord blood search performed with the Atlas algorithm. It's a single mismatch and 265 potential cord blood units were identified for this patient. Again, the cord blood units are ranked first by match probability and second by TNC. If you do not wish to have your units filtered by TNC or ranked by TNC, you can also change this. So let's have a quick look at how you can change your preferences. In your name, you can go to preferences and you can set here the secondary default sorting, because primary will always be HLA. So secondary, if you do not want TNC and you prefer CD34, then you can apply that. Then all of your cord blood units will first be ranked by HLA match and second by CD34. Final thing to cover would be automatic refresh of searches. All of the searches that you perform or all of the patients that you enter, you can also request that the HLA does an automatic refresh of those search results multiple times in a week. This is what this little symbol here would represent. So 3 times a week, WMDA will automatically rerun these searches and will indicate whether there are any new or deleted donors from the previous time a search was performed. But how do you switch on automatic search? Easy enough. Once you're in the patient's information, you scroll all the way down, you can get to other actions and simply say, turn on automatic refresh. And now you will see that this search will be automatically refreshed every 3 times a week. I hope that this walkthrough has been helpful to you. Of course, if you have any additional questions about how to use the search and match service, Please have a look at the user guide where you will find a lot more helpful tips and tricks on how to perform a search and identify the most suitable donor. Alternatively, you can send an email to support@wmda.info. Thank you for listening along today, and we hope to be in touch with you soon.